Hello, everybody. We're continuing the conversation on dancing into maturity. And today I have with me the beautiful Zabelle from Melbourne. And she's been in the industry for a very long time. And I'll get her to tell you a little bit about her journey straight from Zabelle's mouth.
Hello, thank you, Kylie. Thank you for inviting me to join with you in this very unique opportunity to talk about ageism in a way relating to the dance that we love. So the first thing I'll speak about may be the performance, because I started at a very young age. I started dancing at a very young age, but I didn't start belly dance until 1999. And at that point I was working in gymnasiums, teaching a belly dance exercise program. And this was sort of, I suppose, it's not sort of, it was very much like the love we have for the Zumba. So I was teaching a Latin belly dance mix that I developed on my own because they were the skills that I had at the time. And that's going back straight away as soon as I started belly dancing. I was also at that time teaching ballroom as well. So that was ballroom as in ballroom waltz styles, New Vogue, which is another branch, and the Latin American and street Latin. So I've had a lot of other experiences in performance. So putting performance aside, in belly dance though, to be a performer, of course, starting as I had when I was in my 40s. So that meant that I had the opportunity, still looking fit and gorgeous, that I could be in a two-piece costume and feel very confident and look lovely. And as the journey has continued, of course, we make small adjustments because we're not as smooth, is that a nice word? We're not as smooth as we once were, but costuming can be more flattering. And then looking at classical styles, a lot of the time the body was covered, and I can appreciate that more so now. Also, looking at classical and ballady, especially maybe ballady or other styles, folkloric styles, we are covered. And so I think I've tend to look towards those more pure styles now, because then I can still continue with the energy and the love that I have for the dance, but I'm covered. So I feel a little more confident that way.
So, taking that into account, how do you feel you've evolved as an actual performer in terms of your style or the technique or your interaction with your audience over those years?
I think the interaction with the audience, because it's the sheer practice and of the practice. It's the practice of performing, although the opportunities to perform become less. So I think the connection is very important, because when you do have the opportunity that, you make that connection, that seems more important, that you draw them into your performance rather than what you're actually doing. But the knowledge that you have shows in your movements. People can see that you've got that inner confidence, and we don't have to have all the faster, quicker, sharper movements. And I feel that once again, sticking to classical, even though they're very energetic, I think it's the connection with the audience, and that's how I think I've maintained to be valued in the communities as a performer.
So, how have you also had to evolve to cater for the changes in your body over the years as a dancer?
I don't suppose I've really considered it that much, to be quite honest. I may be some person that could be regarded as lucky, because I can still wear the same costumes. They don't need to be altered. I've maintained my original size from when I started, but that's only 20 odd years ago. So the costumes all still fit. And maybe body stockings might be the only thing that could be an advantage. But in my style, as far as fitness is concerned, I think I've been very fortunate that I've maintained as best health as possible. I have a very strict regime. So, in general, I could be honest and say that also believing in natural therapies, that I've stuck with all of those, and the effects that the average person has during growing up, growing middle, growing, getting over that other age group. I think I've still maintained mostly my fitness and physical shape. As I always say in a jest, as long as you're about 2.5, 3 meters away, everything still looks okay. So they need to be a distance. But the closer you get, the truth is told. So I think, fortunately, looking at size wise, I'm the same. And now, of course, your body changes as well. Every day it's different. But I think the fitness and going through those stages as a younger woman and then leading into the middle of that, there's a cryptic time for women, and it can start at any age. So it really has not an age group. There's not an age group, it's just something that happens.
So tell us a little bit about what you do to keep yourself fit and healthy and so vibrant.
Well, for a start, I try and go by a rule to wake up before the sun rises, if I can. And I do a lot of the time. Most of the time, I'd say 6 out of 7 days, I'm in the dark, unless it's -1 in Melbourne. I'm
Nice.
out, and I have a series of exercises that I do that are great for coordination. They wake up the mind and the body. They're quite simple, but they're not that easy. And that includes, on good days, 100 very girly push-ups. So I do that. That's the first thing I do. Diet-wise, in the mornings, I always start with lemon juice, I must add. So I start with lemon juice in water. I might have a tea if I need to, but then I go outside, do my exercises before sunup, and then I come in and usually have breakfast. After that, I would do a series of stretches, just very simple stretches, take about 8 minutes. First program takes about 14 minutes, 15 minutes. Then I do that, I have breakfast, then I do a series of stretches that can take between, depending on the time I have, between 5 and 10 minutes. Usually after that, sometimes before 12 o'clock, I will do a dance practice. So I'll go over certain dance moves, and that can take maybe another 10 or 15 minutes. So this is a regime, this is what I do every day. Where most people might go for a walk down the street and have a coffee with sugar in it, that's what I'm doing. So I'm a vegan, so this is something else that maintains high energy, maybe a little bit too low in the iron occasionally. I'm sure if I had to have a test done, but generally, so that I think is my maintenance for health and to be vital, because I'm not bored down by, sugary foods. I avoid that at most costs.
Yeah,
So
well, it's obviously working for you because, you're still dancing, you're still performing, you're still teaching,
that's
and
it.
yeah, and still vibrant and on the belly dance scene in Australia.
Yes, I do believe that with a twist, I might be the eldest performer out there. Maybe not, but I tell the truth. Some others may, baffle you with science, and I don't overdo my photographs. So what you see in those photos generally is what you get. Yes.
And you
So
know what? I really like that too because I think that, sometimes we get these false images and then when somebody turns up, it's like, oh, hang on.
yeah,
And yeah, I really do think that part of this idea of filtering ourselves has come through that ageism too. So it's beautiful to see real women and real faces. And when people are employing you to do something, they're getting you, not a
mhm,
filtered you.
that's exactly right. I think just a very funny story, because I have thousands of them, but not to bore you. Um, about 2 years ago, someone asked me to fill in for them, and it was around, I think it was Christmas. and I filled in for them in a restaurant. And when I arrived from a distance, the owner was quite happy and sort of said, "Oh, go down there." So I go out the back, I get changed. He comes out to look at me and he went, "Oh." And I handed him the music. Mind you, it was a Turkish restaurant, so I had to, the energy was high.
Oh, yes.
And and I can still do that, but a lot of the time now I tone down what I do. But in this restaurant, and he looked at me and he thought, "Huh." And when I handed him the music and he turned the first song on, he dimmed the lights for me and he gave me a $10 tip. So, but the costume is great, and it was a real Turkish costume, and I think he appreciated all of the whole package was okay. So there you go. So if you know your audience and you do your practice as far as performance is concerned, health and fitness, it really can make a bit of a difference. So
Yeah, and you've probably changed people's minds as well. When you go into that space and you're not what is expected, but you put on a darn good show.
exactly.
Yes, and inspire other women too, and men.
And that's the absolute truth. That's the truth. So, I really enjoy doing those sorts of things and surprising people. I do have people that call me up regularly, maybe twice a year, and I still go and perform for them. And I suppose, though, there's one dance teacher, and I've had so many over the years because I started dancing at such a young age. And they said sometimes you're only as good as your last performance. And so this, you can think about it for yourself, or you can think about it as a $10 tip. That was okay. I passed. So I felt really good about that.
I must admit, I do really like that. Only as good as your last performance.
So you've got to keep working, and this is something that I think I've done my whole life. This is why I get out before the sun comes up. That's why I have the lemon juice. That's why I do what I do, because it really is necessary to be honest with yourself and be kind to yourself. But you really need to address if you're going to do a performance. And some people might say, if I do something and I say, "Oh, I really didn't like it," and they go, "Oh, that was great," and if other people enjoyed it, and that's the main thing as well. If someone says they've enjoyed it, well, one person is all you have to please, and then yourself, and you've just got to stop slapping yourself around. So there's a two-way street for yourself, but I do believe that you're only as good as your last performance, and tradesmen can be the same. Or I'm only as good as the last glass that I've blown, or I'm only as good as the last house I've built, or so this is something you can, look at it on a hard way, but then also too, you have to pat yourself on the back, because if one person likes your house, you've won. That's it.
Yeah, and good attitude, and it does make you very conscious and aware of your own skill set and maintaining that skill set.
Absolutely. And
So, if there's just something you would like to sum up about your longevity or success, what has been the secret to your longevity or success in either belly dance or your belly dance business?
I would say that over the years, even though I get condemned by those that love me and think that I over deliver. So I'm over caring, I over deliver. I think that if you're going to name yourself as being successful, I can also say that I've been a terrible failure at times, because I could not be a success if I was named that, because I've failed so many times at so many things. So I am still finding ways to maintain something that you aim for, that we call success. So I would say I've probably failed many more times than what I've succeeded.
So really, it's persistence and tenacity and being able to learn from all of those things that didn't quite work out the way that we wanted them to as well.
That's right. And I suppose I over deliver. I'm very sincere. I don't give any false information. And I always challenge myself. I'm a perfect student. I'm always in class. I keep up with everything. And also, too, I think I've learned, and the hardest thing to be successful is to learn your haters, because there's people that don't like everybody. You can't like everybody. You can't like everybody's style, and those people you have to invite closer, because you need people to not like you, because they're just as a powerful success tool as the ones that love you. So you have to accept both sides of that. People liking you, people not liking you, and people that just absolutely hate you. And the haters are the ones that I love the most, because they're the ones I try and get the information from, because they're the ones that are going to help me.
Yeah,
Because
and
they,
this is a perspective that that I guess you can say comes with age, and this wisdom that comes with age, that you can accept that as something that you can learn and progress from.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. And because, often in belly dance, what I've found is the haters are the ones that are sitting up the front videoing you to watch, to see what you've done and what you're not doing. And I really love that too. And I say, oh, did you do a video? No, I didn't video you. And I can see them. It's sort of funny. Like, I might be getting older, but I wear contact lenses when I perform, so I can see everything. Uh, yeah, so I think that's it. I think, keep fit, over deliver, be sincere. Look, I'm looking around for another thought, but I think I've covered everything. Love your haters, love your lovers, love the music, love the dance. And love life, because, and look after yourself and do what's right for the person. If you want to be a success, you've got to just think about, we can love like most people in the world love chocolate, but I don't. But you can love chocolate, you can love chocolate cake, you can love coffee, I love a cup of tea. I'm a dag with the tea. But I think if you love dancing, you love moving, and you love life, you can do anything you want, and with a cup of tea.
And on that segue,
Yes. Cheers.
cheers! Thank you so much, Zabelle. This has been a really insightful once again, and entertaining also conversation. I love your insights and your stories and sharing your experience, because this is what these conversations are really all about, to open up um, more women to other women's stories, and
That's right.
especially in belly dance.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.